Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Sonny Mohanty. I'm the head of ventures and ecosystem building at XDC Network. So here we are with another founder of the XDC Acceleration Program. So we're going to get more up close and personal with the founder to understand what he has built on the XDC network. This is the most busiest week in Singapore. This is the Token 2049 week. We are also going to obviously discuss about all the experiences these founders are having during this week, right? So I'd like to introduce you to Herve, who is the co-founder and chairman of TradeEnabler. Herve, would you like to introduce yourself, a bit about TradeEnabler, and a little bit about of your background?
Sure. So my background, I've been kind of always between banking and technology. I was a banker for a number of years in California. Been in Asia for well over a decade, and continued in the tech business. Right. TradeEnabler actually came out of TradeEnabler. First was the name of our product that we sold to financial institutions, banks mainly, for issuance of letter of credit and managing. It was kind of the rebirth of our first product, which was called SwiftTrade, the first web-based trade finance platform. And we saw the opportunity after long discussion to bring that to bridging traditional finance with the Web3 world and the XDC chain.
I would like to share a little bit about this podcast as well, the purpose why this podcast. So this is a part of the acceleration program. So we've shortlisted 8 projects to build on XDC Network as part of the 10ET acceleration program. By this podcast, we're going to know a bit more into this project and what kind of assistance or collaborations we can expect out of this. Sort of them shaking hands with XDC Network. Coming back to the acceleration program itself, right? How did you come to know about this 10ET acceleration program, and what made you interested in applying to the program?
That's a very good question. Actually, I was contacted on LinkedIn by one of the 10ET person.
Okay.
And was kind of interested, as our platform has been traditional finance, and expanding into blockchain and all the benefit that it brings was something we were certainly considering. And then I got a call from you telling me, Herve, are you applying or not? And I oops, I thought it was too late, and ended up applying for it, right? And yeah, I think the XDC chain is something that is very interesting and unique, especially for our product, but some other things. So you were the catalyst to get us started with the XDC program.
Absolutely agree. When I saw you, obviously I've known you since many years before XDC, because obviously we are in the Southeast Asia. I see you at various events when I was in Thailand also back in the days. So I thought, wow, I saw you on the shortlisted list. Right, I should definitely give him a call. So that's how it started. But yeah, here you go. You're building on XDC. You completed the launch to the XDC Mainnet. Congratulations. And so we are working together. That's amazing. Okay, coming to the product itself, TradeEnabler, right? Just talk us through what exactly the problem you're trying to solve that exists today.
We focus narrowed down on financial institution. Financial institution banks, especially in emerging country and small banks, have a challenge in getting correspondent banking.
Right.
And so the first one is advising a letter of credit. And we've had institutions that, we've had the software to handle the connection with the customer, as many other institutions have. But when it comes down to Swift, it only works as long as you get a correspondent on the other side. And usually the correspondent's role in the terms of just a narrow business of a letter of credit is to advise without responsibility on our part. So it's just to authenticate that this other institution is indeed issuing this credit in favor of X on behalf of another customer. And we felt, there's two ways of handling it. One is you have the Swift relationship, it's very efficient and works great. The other one is you don't have that contact or you're not even on Swift. And at this point, this is something that's done very manually. A piece of paper that's printed, sign, signature specimen that are sent to another institution and all of that just to authenticate the issuance of a letter of credit. So we felt this is a perfect opportunity to put that on chain with the full transparency and the authentication that is native from the chain. And even though we had that in mind, we figured that NFT on the XDC chain was an opportunity, and that's what we've done and what we've accomplished.
Well done to you and your team putting that on the chain. Coming to chain, there are so many chains out there in the market. You know that. I know that, right? And obviously, you've been always telling me, you had several options, but you decided to go with XDC chain, right? Maybe we'd like to know why.
At first, we were just looking and saying we're chain agnostic, and we certainly could plug in into various chains, just like we're plugged into Swift and various other payment network. But we felt that, well, number one, not all chain offer the ability to create an NFT on chain, which is important for documents or agreement, which is what we call an NFA, non-fungible agreement, right? Yeah. And we can do. So like, for example, Ripple, which is known for being the technology of banks, I think just last week announced that they were moving to be able to allow NFTs. So that was one of the big benefit of XDC, and XDC being also an EVM or
EVM compatible.
Compatible. We see further opportunity down the line to be able to integrate compliance and other things. And XDC is really focused on trade as well. So that's all those reasons put together, I think, makes it a great partnership for us to get on that chain.
So are you also working with smaller banks? Because obviously everybody likes to work with bigger banks, right?
We've had, from a technology standpoint, worked with small and big banks.
Okay.
And yes, I think the opportunity and the need is really more for smaller banks that may not have the resources, the human capital to connect to blockchain.
Right.
And so that's one opportunity. Maybe extending on the question that you had, what problem are we solving?
Yeah.
A letter of credit is basically an agreement and a commitment that needs to be set in stone so that you get full transparency.
Yeah.
But that's not where we stop. I mean, I think we've done that for the first part, and there's other opportunity, other product, an invoice, authentication, basically any agreement can be put on chain.
Yeah.
And we have a few product in our roadmap to which are going to be a great match for the XDC chain.
You were a banker yourself. You worked in the traditional financial institutions. And as you know, blockchain, crypto, they're loosely confused with each other.
Yes.
Right? Hence, there are a lot of challenges. How do you think you can obviously break this barrier and go mainstream working with companies that can embrace the technology?
The difference has to be made between, as you say, blockchain and crypto. One is the technology, and the other one is a use case.
Yeah.
When you think in Singapore, you have part here, right? Using blockchain to communicate between, I think, JP Morgan and DBS. So the blockchain technology is being used. Ripple and Bank of America, right? I think with the XDC chain and the program, the fact that you can program the blockchain to bring in compliance, which is when I first got to Singapore at Sibos and I first saw Ripple, right? I heard one of the regulator that told me, cryptocurrency is for criminals, right? And
money laundering.
That's and there's that negative aspect. I was speaking to in Panama to regulators and not regulators, but compliance people saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, crypto is a terrible thing," and I said, "Well, then you're going to stop using cash because crypto is traceable, cash is not."
Not.
So yes, there is that change, and people have to start understanding that the use of the technology can be used properly, and actually, it's much more transparent than cash and other. So, but the opportunity is to bring in, as we bring in also authenticity and compliance with zero knowledge proof inside the blockchain. That's where we see great opportunity.
But don't you think that cash is issued by the central bank, whereas crypto is obviously private players, except Bitcoin, which is completely decentralized. But other players like but if you compare like to like, I mean, if they have this question for you.
Look at USDT.
Yeah.
Right? USDT is a bank, right? It is a poorly capitalized bank, and it is issuing a lot of its asset to its own related entity. So it's not decentralized at all, right? The technology behind is decentralized.
Yes.
So I see opportunity for decentralized technology, huge opportunity for real world asset tokenization, whether it's resources, like we have a project potentially in Africa where we can basically put the contract on the chain, but also to generate carbon credit and all those things. So there's a lot of use in the fractionalization of the asset, recording of the asset, and what blockchain brings is immutability and auditing capability. And the AML problem is not really a problem; it's a decision, right? Basically, actually, today you have FinTrack in Canada that allows you to report digital currency. So it's not just fiat currency. So any transfer of asset is you have those rules from various government, and that's okay. Right?
So that's where the traditional players are now sort of embracing the benefits of this Web3 technology.
Embracing might be a big word. Look at ISO 222, right? Banks on Swift have taken forever, and I'm not sure all of them have fully embraced the benefit of the detailed address that comes in with the ISO standard.
Right.
So banks move slow, right? That I see as an advantage, especially the smaller bank that don't have the resources. Small bank or financial institutions, right? And they see fintech coming at their heels, trying to eat their lunch. So as we can come in and let them participate and let them leverage the blockchain, bringing more transparency, redundancy as well, that's where I see us moving forward and collaborating with the XDC chain.
You've discussed this with me before, like movies and stuff like that. What's your roadmap like in next 1 to 3 years? If you'd explain, for example, to an investor, like, what's your plan for the next 3 years? How are you going to plan to scale and grow on the XDC Mainnet?
In terms of product, we have an exciting movie that's coming together, and it's a movie about crypto that's going to be shot in Dubai, and in Dubai and other location depending. But the idea is to let fans participate into the film, and that's not just financial participation, but the concept of being able to benefit. Number one, getting NFTs for various product, right? So that's exciting because I've worked from a lender standpoint in the film financing, but everybody wants to be in the movies, right?
Produce or act?
Many people just want their name associated with the movie, executive producer. And so being able to give that pride of participation, whether it's financial or just getting involved in the movie, I think is something that's going to make it's going to be a kind of lower budget, 1 million up.
Oh, okay.
Depending on what we're raising, we'll probably see, well, I say we, but it's the producer. I don't know anything about the movies. I just know the people we're working with have a good track record of making money, and which is important, as well as kind of doing good work.
So
right?
all these transactions are going to happen on XDC chain.
Certainly the contract, right? In the movie, usually you have investment that are done from various parties around the world. They're all in dollars, right? So what we're putting is, number one, the technology so people can invest in the currency that they choose, invest or purchase NFTs that are going to be on the XDC chain, then get granted NFTs that are for the parties and other things. That's kind of the vision that we have. So you're not really investing with, you're participating. You can participate with money, you can participate with work. There's various other way. One of the things we want to do is the authentication of an NFT for the actual objects that are in a movie. Like, for example, this glass, right? If you have a famous actor that's drink out of it, you technically can put an NFT to it, have the registry be the thing, and then it's more valuable than whatever its price is at, right? So we're kind of working with the producer and the people in the film industry to kind of democratize basically the film business. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Very interesting use cases I see coming on XDC Mainnet.
Second use case we're talking about is, medical invoice, to be able to share some of the information, prevent some of the fraud of, I would just say, some of the invoice fraud that, so that insurance doesn't pay, not, what would we say, the double spending.
Yeah,
right?
double spending, yes, absolutely.
So when you have that record in there and proof of ownership, as well as a thing, there's a large number of use case, and there's room for many players. And in our key is collaborating, right? You in the group there are a lot of kind of projects that are very complementary.
Right.
So in a way, XDC is putting us together from a technology standpoint, but also from a business use case.
Coming to XDC. Now that you've completed the XDC Mainnet launch, so what milestones are you going to be working on next?
Number one, there's a difference between having the proof of concept being done, and then the next thing is really targeting some of the financial institutions so that they can use it in real use case, see the benefit, being able to, we've seen that some of the banks are having a problem with correspondent banking, and the letter credit is a first step, I think. The letter credit, when we talk about ISO 222, that's more payment world, but not trade. And I think in trade, there are, XDC is already working with trade documents. From my experience as a young banker, 25 years ago, we were talking about the EUCP, which is basically the international rules, but being able to present digital document. There's still some work to be done there and before adoption, but kind of getting your foot in the door with a financial institution, starting with trade, kind of brings you into payment and other large number of transactions, stablecoin and various other.
A lot of work seemed to be done. All the best for that. Okay, Herve, if our listeners, viewers would like to get in touch with you, could be for collaboration or any other sort of engagement they would like to have with you and your business, TradeEnabler, how can they reach out to you? Where can they find you?
So you can find us. Obviously, we get a website, and I'm on LinkedIn and various, and we probably share my contact details, and not only myself. The CEO was somebody that has worked. Joe Perry has been in the banking business for a long time and worked with us in technology as well. So we're definitely can be contacted, and I think we're on your website as well.
Yes, indeed you are. Thank you, Herve, for sharing those details with our viewers and listeners. So here you go. You can reach out to Herve anytime for collaboration and business. Coming over to the XDC Acceleration Program, we have partnered with Plug and Play. 1080 program obviously is going on right now. Brink. We're also launching our program with T-Hub. Soon it's going to go live. So projects, founders in Web3 space, if you're building in the Web3 space and our themes around real world asset, right? And you've already launched your MVP, we're happy to discuss with you for this program, for the upcoming programs as well. And here is the link below. You can see the link and see all the details of the programs that we've launched. I forgot to mention we've also working with Launchpool out of UK. So yeah, so there's a lot of room for all these projects who are building on the real world asset space to launch their token during this program on XDC Network. This is a very busy week. This is the Token 2049 week in Singapore. Thanks for tuning in. And we have a lot of side events to go to. And our own event as well. We are having a launch party with Plug and Play at Market Singapore. This is going to be very, very exciting. I think a lot of people were expecting. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And we would like to say bye and see you soon.
Thank you very much.